The New York Yankees have had some of the greatest postseason moments in Major League history. So many, in fact, that it's impossible to capture them all in a top 10 video. So in this video, I'll highlight my top 10 postseason performers, and for some it will be a special game that cemented their legacy, and for others it will be their overall postseason dominance. I'll drop in some honorable mentions at the end. Feel free to disagree, this is purely my opinion, and you may have different players in mind. These are the Yankees' top 10 postseason performers. Edit. I'm re-uploading this video because I had kind of a glaring omission. So for that reason, you're going to have two number 8s. The Yankees retired number 8 twice. I can have two number 8s in my list. Let's kick things off with one of the more clutch players in recent memory, Derek Jeter. It was hard to narrow down Jeter's overall excellence in big spots, everything from the flip play against Oakland to his Mr. November walk-off home run in the 2001 World Series. So I went with what I felt was his peak of his career, the 2000 World Series performance against the New York Mets. A lot of Yankees that were part of that late 90s, early 2000s dynasty have gone on record to say that the 2000 World Series was the most pressure they felt of any of the World Series they played in because it was a battle for the city. And George Steinbrenner would not accept a World Series defeat to the Mets. Derek Jeter stepped up, winning World Series MVP with a .409 batting average for the series, 2 big home runs, and he picked up 9 hits in 5 games and also made one of the best relay throws of his entire career. Number 9, Hideki Matsui in the 2009 World Series. Michael Kay likes to say that players who have a reputation as being great, as Hideki Matsui did throughout his playing career in both Japan and the United States, didn't get that reputation by accident. You have to come up big in big spots. Matsui was excellent throughout his postseason career with the Yankees, from his great performance in the 2003 World Series loss to the Marlins to driving in 10 runs and batting .412 against the Red Sox in the 2004 ALCS. But he capped off his Yankees career by saving the best for last, the 2009 World Series MVP. Godzilla positively stomped the Phillies with 8 hits and 13 at-bats. That's good for a .615 batting average, 3 home runs, and 8 ribbies, including 6 RBI in the Game 6 victory over Pedro Martinez to seal the deal on the Yankees' 27th World Series. His .615 average is the highest for any 6-game World Series in Major League history.
I thank everybody for making this night necessary.
Number 8 is quite appropriately Yogi Berra, who was a contributor on 10 different World Series championship teams, but the 1956 series might have been his finest hour. He finished that series victory over the Dodgers with a .360 average and an .800 slugging percentage. He homered 3 times and drove in a then-series record 10 runs. And of course, he was behind the plate for Don Larsen's perfect game, still the only perfecto in World Series play. It was a hard-fought series back and forth, but the Yankees blew out the Dodgers in Game 7, and that was thanks in part to 2 home runs from Yogi Berra, who went deep in the first and third innings off of Don Newcomb, who won the Cy Young and MVP awards that season.
I thank everybody for making this night necessary.
And your second number 8 is A-Rod in 2009. Felt bad I omitted him from the first list. I decided to re-edit the video and put him back in. There's no Division Series MVP, but if there were, he probably would have won it in 2009. I don't think the Yankees would have even reached the World Series without a red-hot A-Rod. Overall, he hit .365 with 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. This after years of being labeled not clutch, which isn't really true. He had some big moments. He had some down series, but he had some big moments too. And if it weren't for the great pitching of CC Sabathia, he probably would have won the LCS MVP. Number 7 is the collective World Series performance of number 7, Mickey Mantle. Honestly, he could be higher on this list, but I wanted to put him at number 7 because that was his number, and it's fun, and this is my video, and that's what I want to do. Mickey was a god among men on the diamond, especially in October. When Mantle played, there was no playoffs. It was only the World Series, and he was as good as anyone who ever played the game in the World Series. He retired as the all-time leader in World Series home runs with 18, RBIs with 40, runs scored with 42, total bases 123, and walks with 43. Even more impressive, he did it from both sides of the plate. There will only ever be one Mick. I wish I could have seen him play.
Manager for the Yankees.
Number 6 is Roger Clemens in 2000. Rocket was actually really good in most of his World Series appearances with the Yankees, beginning in his debut season with the Yanks in 1999. However, Roger was pitching through back and groin issues in 1999, and the 2000 version of Rocket was a completely different animal. He never had a problem getting pumped up, but in 2000, he began having hot liniment applied to his beanbag in order to get a little bit more fired up. It paid off. He absolutely dominated the Mariners in the ALCS, tossing 138 pitches in a complete game in which he allowed just one hit and carved up Seattle for 15 strikeouts. About a week later, in Game 2 of the World Series versus the Mets, Rocket tossed another one of his finest performances, 8 shutout innings while allowing just 2 hits. He also chucked a broken bat at Mike Piazza. Roger also pitched well in the 2001 World Series versus the Diamondbacks. Bernie Williams at number 5 in 1996. Bernie was an excellent postseason player throughout his entire career, beginning with a .429 performance with a pair of home runs versus the Mariners in 1995. However, the best was yet to come. Bernie was absolutely unbelievable in 1996. He carried the Yankees to their first World Series berth since 1981 by hitting .467 against the Texas Rangers in the ALDS, going 7 for 15 with 3 home runs, 5 RBI, and 16 total bases in 4 games. He didn't stop there, however. He walked off Game 1 of the ALCS versus the Orioles and won Series MVP, batting an incredible .474 with 2 home runs and a 1.531 OPS.
The luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Number 4, Babe Ruth in the 1928 World Series. This just in, Babe Ruth was really good at baseball. A year after the Murderers Row Yankees, the 28 squad was actually an underdog versus the Cardinals, partially due to several key injuries on the team, including Tony Lazzeri and the Babe himself. So how did he do? Well, he hit a mere .625, or 10 for 16, with 3 home runs, 5 ribbies, and a ridiculous OPS of 2.022. Ruth also had some other great World Series moments, like when he hit 3 home runs in Game 4 of the 26 World Series, or his famed called shot, which probably happened. That was during the 32 World Series.
The most famous baseball player of all time, Babe Ruth.
I probably could have listed the Babe as number 3 to go along with his number, like I did for a few other folks, but 3 also applies to this man, Reggie, as in 3 home runs in Game 6 of the 1977 World Series. I didn't get to experience it, so if you lived through that game and you remember it, tell me your story in the comments. It was a good enough night to earn him one of the greatest nicknames in the history of sports, Mr. October. Reggie Jackson. Number 2, Mariano Rivera's entire postseason resume. Mariano Rivera had some of the most sustained dominance at his position in the history of baseball, nay, in the history of sports. From 1995 through 2011, Mariano Rivera appeared in 32 different postseason series and pitched 141 innings. He allowed just 11 earned runs, good for a 0.70 ERA. No wonder he was a unanimous Hall of Fame selection. More human beings have walked on the moon than have crossed home plate during a postseason game with Mariano Rivera on the mound. To top it off, he recorded the final out of 4 different World Series, 1998, 1999, 2000, and 2009. There's only one greatest closer of all time, and it's Mariano Rivera.
you don't like it, you're fired.
You haven't hired me yet.
And number 1, because you can't be any better than perfect, Don Larsen's perfect game in Game 5 of the 1956 World Series against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Larsen's perfecto is the only perfect game in World Series history, and it was the first perfect game thrown of any kind in 34 years. No Yankee would throw another perfect game for another 42 years. Don Larsen, number 1, and the perfect ending to a great list. Honorable mention, Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. He only played in one postseason, but he hit .417 and homered in his final game in Yankee Stadium. Also, how about Raul Ibanez, who homered twice to tie and win the game in Game 3 of the 2012 ALDS coming off the bench. And last but not least, Shane Spencer, the home run dispenser who carried the Yankees in the 1998 Division Series with a couple of big home runs against the Rangers. Honorable mention, Scott Brocious, who for the most part hit out of the 8 and 9 hole in the 1998 season, ended up being World Series MVP, 2 home runs in Game 3, a performance for the ages.
Help NYY Recaps become a bigger and more permanent part of the Yankees universe by becoming a member. You'll receive members-only content, including behind-the-scenes videos and members-only watch parties. Follow me on social media at NYY Recaps Derek on Twitter and _Streamski on Instagram.